this week in San Jose. Just the preliminaries could be a final in themselves. These riders battling to make their way into the finals. The first of 2 runs.
And Gary Young has really great street style, very flowy. We saw him earlier this weekend. He had an accident in BMX dirt, going down really hard, but he seems to have bounced back to park today. Big 360 on that step down now. That's a blind landing. Very hard thing to do.
Something Young is known for, those transfer lines. Loves the big gap, stays away from the big flip tricks.
Right, it's gotten him into the finals. You'll see that something, he flows very well, but we're not seeing a lot of variations within those lines.
Oh!
Very creative. Wow. Goes down on the front wheel, 2 nosedive.
He's going to add to that, also known for creative use of wall rides. He's always that rider that will be way up there on the wall rides. That is creative right there on the wall ride in the exit. We saw Ryan Nyquist similar. He ended up 270 out in his prelim, so something the judges definitely reward, that creativity.
We're going to be seeing a lot more usage of this ramp. It's a step down. Keep your eyes on him. Here he comes off this takeoff, but he's going down, dropping about 8 feet at the end there. Now the difficulty of that is that it's a blind landing. You can't see where the landing ramp is. You can see the 360 tail whip, but this curved wall ride, he tries to do a 270 out, 2 nosedive, obviously. He's got to be smooth coming in again. You can see how he lands, front wheel way too down. That's what just sent him over the bars. OTB, we call it. That's over the bars. Not a good. Here is what Witten did to garner himself that top spot. You can see he just, like Gary Young, he's a flowing rider, but he packs some bigger tricks into a no-handed backflip. Great flow, and the judges rewarded him for that. We also seen him on the curved wall ride. A lot of great elements to this park course. Judges like to see the flow, the degree of difficulty, and that originality in the line. And every stop at the Do Action Sports Tour showcases a different park course. Therefore, the riders are really tested as far as their skills are concerned. You have to be able to adapt. And Alistair Witten, very adaptable.
So the new score to beat, an 88.5 on top of the leaderboard, but still many more first of 2 runs to go, including Stephen McCann. Watch for the no-handed 720. Saw it in prelims.
Up the step up. He's working through some back problems. He's had a nagging, persistent pain this summer with his back.
I spoke with him before today's competition, Ken, and he said he's been training quite a bit at Woodward East.
Gonna come up short here. That is gonna hurt his back.
Following today's competition, is going to be heading out to Mammoth, California, do some mountain biking, a little R&R before the 5th and final stop, and there it is!
Oh,
no-handed.
Backwards though, Pat.
Yeah.
Goes for a no-handed 720 backwards over the box jump. Very risky move.
Backwards being taken off from the landing and landing on that tight transition. So, a couple of problems with McCann on his first of 2 runs. Expect a more polished version of that if he can put it all together on his second run. Landed awfully low on that 720.
He is a very capable rider. He has so much talent. He's been working through some difficulties. It's good to see him in the finals. He got in here back in Portland. He is again here in San Jose. But keep your eyes on this impact. He comes up short on this 360 tail whip. Back wheel, oh, you could tell from the beginning he wasn't going to make it over the box, but he's able to power through. So the run kind of fell apart towards the end. But he does have one more run, and I'll tell you, that 720 attempt, no-handed 720, going the opposite direction from the landing part of the box jump to the takeoff, very difficult. Had he pulled that, it would have earned him definitely a few.
Atop the leaderboard while we were away, he put together a solid run scoring 88.75.
We've been seeing Austin making the finals much more in recent months on the Do Action Sports Tour. The rider that's coming to his own, and he has got a lot of style. He throws together big tricks and he links them together. And one more thing I have to note is a lot of ladies after this man right here.
Okay. It out. Injured ACL, took a hard beating in the BMX dirt finals earlier this week. If you have no ACL, how do you qualify in the third place position going into the finals? I mean, that's just...
I've said it so many times, Pat. There is no rider out there that has a stronger mental game than Ryan Nyquist. And Ryan's smart. Ryan knows just what he needs to do to get up on top of that leaderboard.
Well, if there's ever been a rider that truly thinks about...
Oh, huge backflip down, the step down, big risky move. You'll see riders going up it, but not that direction.
Ryan's always been that tactical rider, great flip variations.
Oh, and a truck driver off of the wall ride in that 360.
On the wall ride, taking a different approach than we saw in prelims.
Well, you know you have to. I mean, the judges get used to seeing you. I think you have to come into the finals with something you've been saving.
Running out a little steam here, Kenan.
He is, but he's done some big tricks.
So that...
And that was clearly a run that you'd want to put down for the home crowd here. Lives a few miles away, or is actually from a few miles away in Los Gatos. But the backflip, now he's completely blind. Then he's able to just guess where that landing is. Very risky move. I know that he's going to want to try a variation. There'll be a flip variation in the next run. He is got that so dialed. Ryan just flowed really well. As you mentioned, Pat, he is capable flipper, capable bar spinner, and talk about bar spins, how about this one? A truck driver, 360 off the wall, and he puts a bar spin in it. Very technical and difficult move, and then you have to...
Speculating, maybe perhaps running out of steam, sets the benchmark at 93.5. Daniel Dares, overall points leader here at the fourth of 5 stops to Do Action Sports Tour. Second top qualifier. Here we go.
Oh! Daniel Dares starts things off really big. No for the can-can. 360 tail whip. You know, everybody I speak with says that this man is a machine, and I happen to agree.
No-handed flares, something we, just started seeing from Kevin Robinson on Vert a couple years ago. Now just throws it into his street run.
You know, he says he spends a lot of time on the internet. He must be downloading these to his brain, these runs, because they're fantastic. He checks things off. Hits every obstacle, has tough tricks. Oh, Daniel goes down.
With that fall, most likely will lose all momentum. It's often said if you fall early in the run, it's salvageable. If there's just a touchdown, foot comes off the pedal, you can sometimes put the run back into a top 3 finishing form, but no chance of
foam pits to bring him tricks like this. You can see that no for the can-can 360 tail whip. Risky to do on that kind of larger spine ramp. Went for an X-up, the 360 tail whip. You can see, oh, that's the problem. Both feet did not find to see a lot of other riders do.
And we saw a lot of tricks in practice that he did not showcase in the prelims run. So the question is he going to unleash something we haven't seen?
There's rumors of a front flip drop-in. Maybe we'll see it.
And Daniel Dares' score coming in 90.25. Dares moves into second.
Oh, no-handed front flip up the step up.
If he can follow up his opening statement with
a double tail whip, tail tap. This is incredible run. He's really opening things up here, Pat.
As the tail whip's dialed, whether it's on or off, the features.
Kramner, this is so far, if he continues this pace, I'm going to put him up at the top, beating Nyquist.
This is going to be the critical part. In years past, Kramner's been known to lose a little steam at the end. Needs to continue all the way through.
He is a flare. And that's going to be time. He makes a full run, chock full of so many variations.
Scotty Kramner win at the first stop this year. Right now, the current leader is Ryan Nyquist at 93.5.
He's got a lot of big tricks just to start your run off this way, going up that step up, beautifully extended front flip. We see it yet again. He's got to land perfectly on that quarter pipe to get enough speed to go up and over. And then he takes his hands off. So Scotty really risking it, but it was the double tail whip, tail tap, of another move we haven't seen him do. That's a hard thing to do. I mean, there's so much momentum. You got to catch on the pedals, and then you have to make sure you got to have some good brakes and some good balance to land perfectly on that back wheel.
It might not be
just two of our young talents from right here in San Jose, and it's simple. You, the fans, get to pick the sport short. Whoever you think is the best, we get to see their skill set here in just a moment. But how important is it to get that first sponsorship?
My first sponsorship was when I was about 15 years old. At first, it was just parts and getting flown to contests, you know, kind of prove yourself. The most important thing is sponsorship through Mountain Dew is the opportunities that it gives you.
All right, Josh, let's take a look at what you have. It's the new sports shorts, and let's see what you have.
Been doing every day, so it got pretty consistent, doing enough in the contest.
And your attitude in your run, a lot of guys will kind of move into stuff and then maybe hit a big trick. You were starting right off the bat. Is that your intention to get in the judge's mind quick?
I want to start out. I do a thing. I wanted guy that owns Hell on Wheels, stunt show company out of New Jersey. He taught me this trick. He's a professional skateboarder, used to be back in the day. And he taught me this trick called Bing, Bang, Boom. So, you know, start out with something big, in the middle with something big, and end with something big.
You got even more for the second run?
I do have more, so we'll see.
See if the score can stick 93.75, but many more riders yet to take their second runs. Remember, in the BMX Park Finals, it is 2 runs, and the highest scoring run will decide who grabs the win. Here, the 4th stop of 5 of year 2 of the Do Action Sports Tour. Here we go, Colin McKay. The other night in the BMX Dirt Finals.
Whoa, that is sick! That's probably the craziest thing I've seen here today so far.
Incredibly creative line. I was saying in the BMX Dirt Finals there was, what was it, 5?
It was actually the top 6.
Top 6
were
finalists.
Australians.
Yeah. So unfortunate for Colin McKay, using some creative line there. Big 7.
He just learned those recently.
Yeah.
Has them dialed. We saw him doing it in the Dirt Comp. He was actually our 6th place finisher in dirt.
Versatile Colin McKay finishing out his second run here in the BMX Park Finals.
Good weekend for him, making the final. But the 720 is also a new trick for him. You can see it. We've seen many 720s, but this one is from Colin McKay. All the way, you can see he travels so far. If he just got that front wheel over, he would have pulled that.
First runs have been full poles from all of our top riders, and there's Alan Cook. Currently, Cook sitting in 7th place. Cook has some creative lines on this course too. He takes that stuntman rider approach. Loves the big gaps.
Up one-footed backflip. And I was speaking with weekend. We were talking about when he was a young guy, he was coming up and he was one of the young riders really unsettling the standings in competition. And now he's saying, Kenan, now I'm getting chased by the likes of Garrett Reynolds and Scotty Cramner. But he's still holding on really well with some innovative lines.
Oh, yeah, we saw him bring back his Superman C-Grab backflip and a lot of tricks that he had in earlier years. He's been busy this summer, traveling, stopping at all the Do Action Sports Tour stops in his RV, getting out there and riding with the fans of the sport.
Got a chance to see one of those. It was really great opportunity for kids to ride with the pros. Alan, along the likes of Dave Mira, Gary Young, some of the other riders we're seeing here in the finals were all on hand, riding with the kids, teaching them. So he gives back to the
next rider, Alistair Whitten, waiting to drop in. Whitten right now in 5th place. This is last run. Best run counts. What's going to be a tighter battle as we go into the 5th and final stop, BMX Park or Skateboard Vert. But how about Scotty Cramner, putting it together on the first of 2 runs? Rider that we've seen in the past, like I said, he usually would run out of steam or he would just almost psych himself out. He stayed full all the way through.
Well, he's had an interesting season altogether, and yeah, he's making that points race very, very close as we move into Orlando.
And Whitten to crack into the top 3 would have to better a 90.25.
Downside tail whip up to step up. That's a change up, and Whitten can put together a fairly strong run here that can bump him into 3rd position. No-handed backflip.
Very smooth use of the course so far for Whitten.
But you see there's some setups there, and if you watch the top 3 riders, they're going to hit tricks off every obstacle. They don't waste any turns.
Great transfer there. Yep.
But you know, Pat, watching this run, he's got some innovative tricks, but it's not going to be enough, in my opinion, to crack the top 3.
That is going to be time for Alistair Whitten, his 2nd run here in the BMX Park. Last year.
And earlier in his run, Pat, you know, remember, we saw some really risky moves. Double tail whip. Oh, excuse me. He has got double tail whip 360s. But that 360 tail whip definitely would have caused some injury. And then landing low on that 720 no-hander.
So a slight improvement for Alistair Whitten on his 2nd run, 88.75. 5th place will be the best he can do as we get to Stephen McCann's 2nd run.
Look for something big here, Pat.
Oh!
Not making it all the way around.
Something we've been watching him pull off in practice. Flare on that.
And that's the thing, it's so difficult for all the ingredients to come together, Pat. I mean, he's got the physicality. Remember a few years back, he was the first rider in a long time to beat Ryan Nyquist about 4 years ago.
There was that string of contests that no one was beating Nyquist right there. The no-handed 720.
That was huge. That's a trick of the week if I ever saw one. No-handed 720 to turn down 720.
So adding new elements.
How much can this rider cram in one trick?
Another 7, opposite direction.
No hands were removed, but he does get the rotation.
So he had difficulties right at the get-go, but came back.
He did. He came back strong.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some rewards we all know resides in one of the meccas of BMX right now.
That would be Greenville, North Carolina.
Here we go. The score to better, 93.75. Can he do it?
So far, Ryan's sticking to business, getting in the tricks.
And he's thinking, how can I up the run that I had before?
Well, one way he could have done a variation on that backflip. He did not elect to do it. Oh, double bar spin, backflip. a little bit low on that wall ride.
He made reference to San Jose ramp club. That was a trick. Oh, right there, unfortunate.
He does it. He has a serious chance.
He is the current overall points leader. Remember, for first place, you grab 100 points. Second place, 75.
You also get a hefty paycheck at the end of the year also.
Here we go. Can he better at 93.75? Daniel Dare's second run.
Much like we saw in the first one. Look, 2 tricks already. 3. Count them, folks. He stuffs a lot of tricks into his runs. He wanted to take his hands off there, did not get him.
We saw the no-handed flare in his first of 2 runs.
But that's okay. Double tail whip, alley-oop, 270. Will he make it this time, Pat? Oh, and he does. He sees it through to the end of that variation.
Incredibly close for Daniel Dare's last few seconds.
So many variations with the tail whips. I'm very excited. Don't mean to blow your ears out, Pat.
You were bringing up not a wasted wall, a trick almost on every transfer, every quarter pipe. Whether it be a tail whip right there, a bar spin, right into a
360 bunny hop, yes. All the way through this.
Ryan Nyquist holds on to second, and our champ, Scotty Kramer, drops in for a victory lap.
Looks like he's going to give it his all here.
Scotty Kramer exhibition. And this is just going to intensify things going into the 5th and final stop. We had some close point battles in all the 3 sports, the 6 disciplines on the Do Action Sports Tour last year, but this is going to be, I think, now we can say the tightest.
Yeah, and add to that the level of riding we saw last year in Orlando. We saw so many new tricks debuted, and you can bet that all of the riders are going to bring some of the tricks that they might have been too worried about doing